On this episode of Beer, Blues, and BS, we might be recovering from all of the fun we had last week, but don't worry, we're still going to have a fantastic show. That's right. We're being joined by regulars, the local geek and JS Gunslinger. We're going to talk a little bit about, what we've been watching, a little bit about all of the excitement that's been happening over on the East Coast. And, hey, I even talk about an interesting project that I'm working on and get a little advice from the crew. It's going to be a great time. Maybe not as crazy as last week, but it'll still be a lot of fun. So, relax. You're in a good place. Welcome to the show.
It's Howard Blues and V. Mark Kidder. Pour a cold beverage, pull up a seat, enjoy time with friends.
Triple B! Well, the Triple B sucks. Okay? Come on.
Whatever, man. This is Beer, Blues, and BS. Online at beerbluesbs.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Beer, Blues, and BS, the podcast that's still a little hungover from last week. If you don't know why, go back and watch last week's. It was a good episode. Anyway, I'm your host, the living embodiment of Charlie Brown, Howard Blues, here, as always, with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. Kidder, how you doing tonight?
Keiko, good evening to you. I'm okay. You know, it's another day, another 50 cent. Another day, another 50 cent. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. It was an interesting week for me. This was like the first week I've had in like 3-4 years where like I only had like one trip on the books where I had to travel. I only had one meeting the entire week. So I just had like time to get stuff done. It was great. I took my defensive driving recertification class.
There's 4 hours of your life that you don't get back.
5. They've updated the course. It's a 5-hour course.
Well, not if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a 5-hour course.
Yeah, it took me actually like all day. And it took me all day because, of course, I work in a cube. So, of course, you have people coming and interrupting throughout. So it took me I spent a whole day doing it. But I had to laugh because then as I was leaving, I walked past my supervisor's office and I just happened to notice what she had up on her computer. I'm like, are you doing designated driving or, defensive driving? And she goes, yes. She started a week before I did. So just because of how many meetings and stuff, I think she was only on like section 5 of 8. I'm like, yeah, I got that done.
Like it, saves decently. So, yeah.
But Kidder, before we get to the good stuff of this show, I got a little story for you.
Story time with Howard, huh?
Yeah, a little bit of story time. I was running an errand because I had time today. I was clearing out email of a former employee, just going through one last time before I told the IT guys, delete that thing. We're good. Everything important is out of it. And I found an invoice that I need to take care of down at Rough Rider Industries. So I'm driving, downtown, just kind of taking a little bit of a scenic route, enjoying my time out of the cube. And as I'm pulling up past this particular hospital, this guy in this flannel shirt just walks across, crosswalk in front of me. And I'm like, this guy looks interesting. So I honked my horn, rolled down the window, said, hey, you want to be on a podcast? You look like you might have something to say. And so joining us tonight, why, it's the Triple B Brewmaster. It's the local geek joining us. How's it going tonight?
Hey guys, it's going good now that it's Friday. It's been a crappy week, so I had the opposite of you, Howard. I had 3 meetings booked at 1:00 one day that I had to choose which one to go to.
This might explain the dirty look I got from you when I honked the horn at you.
I was actually trying to read your license plate and figure out what it said.
I'm not going to tell you, not on the recording, because then I'm going to have everybody knowing what car I drive. So, Remind me after the show.
Car several times in this, and so there is that.
There are some clues out there, but we don't need to give away the license plate. That
right, but I mean, it's basically, yeah. Anyway,
yeah. So no, that was just a real chance encounter. I didn't recognize you right away, and I said to you in the text message when you asked if you want to be on the show, it's like, hey, I wish I would have known I was going to run into you. I would have brought you the beer that I have for you. And, that would have been an even more strange delivery. It's just like, hey, you guy on street, here's a 6-pack.
Right. Yeah.
Were you in Mandan? Because that'd be normal.
No, we were in Bismarck.
Wow.
I was in between meetings. I had like a half hour of downtime between meetings. So I was like, I'm going to go out for a quick walk. And I got to the end of the block and somebody messaged me, hey, you got time to jump on a call? Yeah, give me 5 minutes. I'll be back.
Yeah, that does sound rough. And you know what? When weeks are rough, it's time to get to everybody's favorite segment of the show. And that is What's on Tap. And, since you are the guest, local geek, what are you having tonight?
I have got in the It's Been a Week glass the mini DNA that I've had in the keg for a little while now, but I think I'm starting to get down to the bottom of it. So, got a little surprise for what's on tap round 2, though.
Ooh, interesting.
But still, this holds up. It's still real good. So.
Yeah. Kidder, I know you had probably the second worst week out of all of us. So, sure. you're the host and not the guest. So, but anyway, what are you having, good sir? What's in the Triple B beer fridge?
Oh, I mean, a lot. Got a couple things in there. I don't know if I want to add to my headache or not.
I mean, you could go non-alcoholic, let the rest of us catch up to you.
No. Commanding lead. Pretty sure I've had this one before, but I'm going to have this again. Shiner Box Spätzle Brewery. It is the black lager and 4.9% alcohol by volume, 12 fluid ounces. Brewed in Shiner, Texas, Spätzle Brewery. Once again, the official beer of Farva, but probably not. Don't be afraid of the dark. Now, if only they would sponsor Farva, then we could legitimately say that.
I keep putting that out there into the atmosphere, maybe it'll get around,
Maybe we should put it in the mail and send them a letter. It's dark. Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
The other thing we could always do is what a lot of people do when they want others to recognize them on social media. They do these they'll do an activity like every day and put it up on like a reel or a TikTok or whatever. Like day 35 of me, creating a piece of art until so-and-so recognizes me, Maybe that's what we got to do. Like day 35 of drinking a beer, a Shiner beer until Shiner sponsors Farva.
Hey, you know what? If you're going to drink a beer, then this is going to not work. But just keep retaking your defensive driving class and make that part of it, because then, you'll have time.
Yeah, no, not going to happen. Gents, I'm trying something different and unique and interesting because, that's what I do on this show. I was looking to see what exact brewery this is. This is from the Genesee Brewing Company of Rochester, New York. It's their Genesee Cream Ale. So, brewed for generations since 1878. And I looked earlier. I believe it is 5.1% alcohol by volume. And that's really all I got on this. And I've never had a cream ale before. So this is uncharted waters. No. Giving it the old smell. I mean, it smells like your standard like Pilsner, like your Bud Light or Busch, basics. And that's about what it tastes like. It has like a really sharp aftertaste. Yeah. That is not enjoyable.
Classic.
Yeah, I mean, like I was expecting a little bit like creamier or smooth taste, but it's got like a little punch at the end. Bitter's not quite the right word for it, but it's not a sour. I'll keep looking for the right word to describe it.
Mouthfeel.
No, we're not getting into mouthfeels.
Your funeral.
Yeah. As much as the internet wants us to talk about mouthfeel. No.
That was a hot episode.
It was. The short did pretty well too. I would probably rate this like 2.5. It's okay. It's not great. Not anything special. This did spring up as I'm drinking this. A conversation I had. Kidder, you might know this. My sister is in town visiting.
How would I know that?
Because you should have gotten an invitation to a particular shindig that's going down tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, she's here. She brought her significant other. That's, I guess, the term I'll use for him. And we were talking beer because my sister told him that, hey, my brother does this podcast. He drinks weird beers. He will probably offer you a weird beer. So like the promise was made that I'd give him something weird. And like I told Lefty this, I'm like, I don't give away my weird stuff because that's for the show. It's content.
I got a weird beer for him.
I'm sure you do.
Layers on it.
So I ended up like he didn't want the he ended up settling for the Finnish long drink, the hard version, because I had one of those and he never tried that. But we were talking then about some of the stuff I'd had on the show, and I was actually showing him the Local Geeks spreadsheet to show like, look at this, look at like we're tracking all of this. It's kind of cool. But in our conversation, a new thing came up that we might need to ask the Local Geek to start tracking, and that's drinks not finished. So we could see like which beers caused people to like tap out and they didn't finish the drink. Because I always boast that I finish everything I've had on the show except for that one like skunky beer I had.
So you can't say that.
There's only been a few of them that weren't finished.
That's right. I mean, it's not a lot. We are pretty good at, as a group about finishing everything, but like there have been a couple throughout the course of this show. But I don't know if the Local Geek wants to go back through everything and try to find all of those.
He's already thinking, and I can see the look on his face. How can I do this or not?
How can I make AI do this for me?
Yes.
Yeah. I keep debating about if I should ask one of the AI things to like write my intro to the show and see what we get, but I always forget about it by the time I like, oh yeah, I should come up with something to say at the beginning of the show. They now have Kidder. I don't know if you've uploaded
They now
anything.
have Kidder. Who is knocking me off now?
Everybody. They all want a piece of Kidder.
I believe it.
They have a new thing in YouTube where every video that we upload, I have to mark that there was not any like deep fake AI generated stuff on it, because people are now able to use AI to replicate people's voices, do very realistic deep fakes. So now you have to mark it down like nope, did not use any of that in the creation of this video.
Because a checkbox is going to be all that stands between legitimacy and deep fakes.
Hey, that keeps kids from going to the beer websites, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was born in 1939. Go on.
I mean, that's really all I had on it, but it was just, it's been an interesting development because I like forget about it. And so it surprises me the last few videos I've uploaded. I'm like, oh yeah, I have to click this little box to say that,
maybe you were born in 1939.
Listen, as the oldest person on this show, for all intents and purposes, it's a possibility. So I always like it when we do actually have an older guest on, because it's like, woohoo.
Somebody in your generation's here. Oh, hello, fellow old person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, there's
things I did not have on the bingo card for this episode. Age shaming Howard.
He didn't go back far enough, though. Based on our conversation earlier, if he would have said he was born in 1909, then it would really make sense that he didn't go out for his 21st birthday.
Yeah, that is true.
Prohibition.
Yeah. Hey, that's a joke you guys will all understand a bit more when you get to behind the curtain. Stay tuned.
What's this you all thing?
I mean, look.
I was there.
I'm talking to the audience. I'm breaking the fourth wall. You are beloved listeners and viewers.
I think you broke it all right.
Thank you for tuning in.
He's trying to maintain those views. Doesn't want them to leave halfway through because now they got something to look for.
Hey, I have to say this. We're getting very dangerously close to something. Right before episode 100, we actually had it where we had more subscribers than episode number. So we got past that. And our subscriber number has stayed ahead of our episode number. Gentlemen, this is episode 156 that we're recording right now, and we're currently sitting at 156 subscribers. So podcast is catching up. So I'm hoping a few people will hit that subscribe button, and we'll keep this going for a while. So,
maybe that's why they're not subscribing. It's like the slowest death in the worst television show in history.
Well, I hate to say it, Kidder, we've paid for all of our services for another year, so I think that you're hinting at is that we're in that like final season where it's like we should have wrapped it up the season before, but we held on for one more. Next thing you know, we're gonna be on a like little bit lesser platform,
There's still beer to be drunk and states to knock off the list.
I can neither confirm nor deny what Local Geek wants to do in financing this show to continue in the future.
And supply the beer from the States. Or just beer in general. Or mead.
I mean, look, if we get to the end of season 4 and we have it, I mean, Kidder, we might have to consider like the ultimate beer run and like knock off the last states.
Or an episode where you drink a beer from every state.
Ooh.
That one would be more reasonable because we can't afford to keep this show rolling. So how are we going to afford to go to all 50 states?
Well, it's not that we have to go to all 50. We're down to 8. There's 8 states we're missing.
Oh, I meant drink them all on one episode.
Well, I know what you meant. I was saying my idea was
I was good for
find
that
the
one.
missing
It's going
8.
to take less time.
Well, except we have to then round up a beer from each state, which we have so far in 3 years failed to do. So,
You mean our spy network has failed to do for us?
And you were right. There are 8 that still need to happen.
you didn't stick around to last week's episode long enough. We ran down all of the stats, Local Geek.
Nice.
Like there was a pretty hefty discussion on that. Yeah, it was good. It basically filled up the gap between what's on tap round 1 and what's on tap round 2.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Also, you'll appreciate this when you see it, but there may or may not have become a drink counter during that episode.
Why are you giving them spoilers?
I mean, that one's a pretty easy one. I won't tell them what we ended up with as a final number, but just saying. He's, something for him to look forward to.
The end of the show?
Yeah. Hey, Kidder. Speaking of end of things, I got something for you that's going to make your day a little bit better.
Is it time for me to get off this planet?
No.
Well, I don't know if I want to hear it.
Hey, listen, for the last few weeks, I have been keeping you updated on how I've been doing in in my company's March Madness bracket. Peter, you'll be glad to know I've officially been eliminated from winning, and so therefore I have no more reason to talk about this.
It's about damn time.
Yeah. Except to speak about the current controversy, which I bring it up. I bring it up because you may have made some allegations about the NCAA being biased when it came to the hockey playoffs. Correct?
I don't remember, but probably.
Yeah. Here's the interesting scandal going on with the NCAA and college basketball, and that is apparently UConn, one of the teams in the Final Four, had some interesting travel problems. So for the tournament, the NCAA actually takes care of all of the travel and hotel arrangements for the teams, so getting them to the tournaments and that. While the other 3 schools arrived into the location of the Final Four, which is somewhere, I don't know because I'm out and I don't care anymore. They arrived on Tuesday. UConn were supposed to fly out on Wednesday, ended up having plane problems, so they brought in a new plane, but then they had to get a new crew because that crew had gone over hours, and so they didn't arrive into their final destination until 6 a.m. on Thursday. They ended up flying Allegiant to get there.
What's wrong with Allegiant? Are
Yeah.
you hating on Allegiant?
No, I'm just saying Allegiant was how they eventually made it. They went off the major airline that they were supposed to fly Allegiant to get there.
It's probably United.
I mean, I don't know.
Unless United's going to sponsor us, and then it wasn't. It was Delta. Unless Delta's going to sponsor us, and then it was American. Unless American's going to sponsor us, and then it was
Frontier.
Yeah, because Frontier doesn't fly here anymore.
Yeah. So part of the controversy is that these guys, their sleep schedule is now off because they were up all night. So they're going to have to try to recover before the big tournament. final games. But the other thing was when they got to their hotel, like they had some pictures of it in the one video I saw. Like they got placed in like this dinky hotel, players having to share rooms, very small beds, all of that. And it was contrasted with a photo taken by one of the players on the other teams he's in this nice palatial room with like a huge king size bed. And so some people are screaming that, hey, there's clearly a bias from the NCAA against UConn and is trying to screw them over by poor travel accommodations and poor hotel accommodations. So that's the big controversy going on right now with the NCAA March Madness tournament.
I mean, it's probably rigged anyway, so.
I mean, listen, I'm out, so clearly it's rigged. Is that how we do things here on the Triple B? When we lose, we just claim it's rigged. Is that?
Yeah, sure.
I just want to make sure I'm doing this right.
Speaking of rigged, WrestleMania tomorrow. Happy WrestleMania week.
Wow. Is that tomorrow already?
Yep.
Damn. Okay. Yeah.
Speaking of out, I'm out.
Slow down. Slow the roll, local geek.
He's trying to try all 50 flavors of his beer.
It's funny you say that, Kidder. I don't know if you know what this is.
A pink top beer bottle.
It is the Mini DNA 2022 edition.
Oh, vintage. Oh wait, I see Kidder's out. Vintage. I gotta drink faster.
I started with the 23, so we'll see if this one's still any good after a year.
So as the local geek pours that into a glass, I guess that means that it's time for me to say, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to everybody's second favorite segment on the show, and that is What's on Tap? Round 2. Drink. I'm going to, because I got to catch up here.
Well, there's not chunks pouring out of it, so that's a good sign.
There's nothing worse than you go to chug a terrible beer and somebody starts talking about chunks.
I was a little semi-worried about that because of the blueberries in it. I wasn't entirely sure if they potentially would turn into something. It has a piney flavor to it, or scent to it.
Mm. That is not a good face.
Yeah, I don't think that one's good anymore.
Hey, on that new column on the spreadsheet about drinks finished.
When a good beer's gone bad, when it turns into an IPA.
It doesn't taste like an IPA. But
I hope it wouldn't, but
it's gone a bit sour, though.
I should not have drank that fast.
So I'm going to have to track down a replacement here. I'll be back in a moment.
Okay. Kidder, are you partaking in round 2? Having something?
I mean, yeah, but you need to drink more, so I want to watch this.
No, I need just a couple of minutes to let things settle. So, hey, while he's doing that, and hey, because of the shirt you're wearing, I sent you a fun video this week.
Mm-hmm. Hockey and wrestling.
Yeah, a little snippet from the WWE of Jey Uso attending a Blackhawks game, and at a point later in the video, being joined by one CM Punk, who also has been in the headlines, Kidder, because he went on the MMA Hour with Ariel Hawani and actually talked about his time in AEW and his side of the story on the Jack Perry incident.
Yes.
And such. And so he's getting a little bit of pushback on that. Some people aren't happy with
a little.
Yeah, some people aren't real happy with what he said or his take or his view of the events. But I have also heard from some of the people I listen to where they're kind of supportive of his side of it. So it's been interesting. I have it bookmarked to watch all of it. I've only seen clips of it, but I have it saved for one of these times when I'm down here painting to put it on and give it a listen. So, but the local geek's back. I'm guessing that means he found a replacement beverage.
I did. I found something that I knew I couldn't go wrong with. So my beer fridge is a little light, but I had a cold smoke still sitting in it. So.
Oh. Good stuff.
Thought I was going to have to break into that last one JS gave me otherwise, but this will definitely suffice. I was hoping to have that one when I'm on with him. So,
yeah. Well, he's out on the road. Let's see. Is this him going to New Jersey? Was that? Do I remember that correctly? He's on his way to New Jersey.
Off on the road to Rhode Island, but not quite.
Yeah. Living up the van life.
Mm-hmm.
Be interesting to see if he makes it onto national TV again with this one.
Mm-hmm. I asked him what he was going to do with all that fame, and he said something to the effect of getting more kilts and fame with kilts. So, the appropriate things.
Yeah, guy's got his priorities. That's for sure. That is for sure. So, well, we know enough about Cold Smoke because that's a classic on this show.
Yeah, it certainly is. And like I said, you can't go wrong. So.
No, you cannot. So, Jitter, you gonna hop in, or would you like me to go next?
Well, I have an interesting one.
Is that moonshine I see?
So, I made a trip down south. And you remember a few episodes ago that we had Brother Nico on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Limited edition vodka. That's right. He was able to give me in a Gerber organic baby food container some Doritos vodka.
Ooh. Cheers.
Holy ball sacks.
Did he forget to take the baby food out before he put the vodka in there?
I probably would have made it taste or smell better. Like, you get that punch of cheap vodka smell right off the top, and then like somebody left a handful of Doritos in the bottle. That's basically what it smells like. You're like, ugh, and then the Doritos, or traditional Doritos, you're like, oh, Doritos. I just just gonna cover this back up here. kind of makes my brain hurt. Because it's like I just, that little sip, it's like I pounded half a bottle of the cheapest vodka that you can buy and then snorted Doritos.
That just just sounds terrible. Oh.
Ugh. I think the beech nut organic prunes would have been better. Prunes.
Gotta be careful with those things in baby food.
I mean, hey, it's the one thing that Doritos vodka and that baby food have in common. They'll probably both give you the runs.
Just gonna take this somewhere.
Not my house. You keep that stuff down south.
He's gonna bring it to the shindig tomorrow and pass it around the parking lot.
Ugh. I mean, there are some people there who, yeah, it'd kind of be okay if he used that stuff on them.
I've had Malort. It can't be any worse than that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure he's going to go up and like give some to the missus. So we'll maybe get her quick opinion on Doritos vodka. So I mean, I do agree. I think they said on the bottle, if I recall, when Brother Nico was on, like it'd be good in like a Bloody Mary or in like a Caesar.
Mm-hmm. If it wasn't on the bottle, it was commented.
Yeah, I could see that, and I would maybe try it in that, but I don't know that I would do that straight. I just don't know that I could have handled that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he can definitely keep that.
No, you're gonna try it, so don't think that you're not. And to make up for it, some Doritos Dinamita Sticks, the tangy, fiery lime. They're crunchy sticks exploding with a zesty lime flavor and a spicy sour kick.
Have you had those before, Kidder?
Last night, first time I tried them.
Because I tried those, but I tried like their smoky queso version.
Oh, that's not these.
Right. I know they're not. It's not those.
Yes.
But it was
Very different.
not good.
No, I hated the queso one, but these are really good.
Yeah, the queso, like the first one was good, and then like after that, all it was like, oh, it's just pure like heat, and none of like the cheesy smoky taste that was in the first bite. And I was like, no, can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah. Those were the worst flavor that I've had. And I only have one flavor left. My favorite so far is the honey mustard. It's like a hot honey mustard almost. Delicious.
Should maybe give those a try. I'll have to watch. I have some more road trips coming up. So. Well, Kidder gets down to snacking. I'm going to get down to drinking.
Yeah, I need to get rid of that nasty aftertaste from the vodka.
I'm sure you do.
Having more Doritos.
I didn't have a problem with the Doritos. It was the cheap vodka and the blend of vodka and Doritos.
The only way to fight Doritos is with Doritos.
Yeah. Come on, local geek. You should know that.
That's fair.
Gentlemen, for my second round, I am going to the Hop Valley Brewing Company. I have their Stash Bandicoot Hazy Imperial IPA featuring cryo hops. This says, Stash Bandicoot packs a punch with our stash of Citra no, I'm not having a stroke. Atenum and Chinook cryo hops. Discover a juicy jungle with notes of apricots and red berries. Note that they don't tell you what red berries, just that they're red berries.
Are the cryo hops from the future?
I don't know, but we have a local geek for that. Anyway, with notes of apricots and red berries in this hazy imperial IPA, it is 8% alcohol by volume, 61 IBUs for those who keep track of those sorts of things. And cryo hops is a registered trademark of Yakima Chief Hops Incorporated, used with permission. So
I had to look it up, but cryo hop pellets are apparently concentrated lupulin of whole leaf hops. So I'm guessing basically the same thing as the pellets that I generally use. Just the particular brand from Yakima or Yakima, however you say it.
Yeah. It's got a slight fruity taste. I haven't tasted it yet. Smell. Oh, but you do smell the hops as well. Ugh.
You got two skunkers tonight.
I mean, it is an Imperial IPA.
It is an Imperial IPA, but again, like, I don't know, when it's got things on here like a juicy jungle, I'm expecting a little bit more of that fruity flavor, and it's not.
Was it like the green nastiness from the jungle floor? Like
It's the mouthfeel of a monkey punching you in the mouth.
Or a bandicoot. You know, to stay on theme. Well, that's what they're playing on, you know, with the Stash Bandicoot.
What? No.
Yeah. This has been Howard Explains the Joke. It's not like
joke's on you.
I had higher hopes. I've had a couple of their other, you know, if people have been watching, I've had a couple of their other different flavors of IPA. This is so far my least favorite. How do I describe that?
Pain?
Well, it's not hoppy. Like, it's not a hop taste. It's kind of like a very like dry wine taste.
Like red wine, white wine,
red.
vinegar.
Oh, like when you first drink it, there's like not much of anything for flavor. And then it like comes in with this wave that just, yeah, it's kind of like a dry wine, but it's kind of bitter. Oh, this is going to be a struggle to get through this. Kidder, I might score this like you normally would. This is like a 0.5. This is not good.
That might be one of the lowest ones you've ever scored.
I know. I'm usually pretty pleasant to most because, you know, hey, I maybe would like them to like, hey, they say good things about our beer. This is good. Oh, this might be worse than the Shiner Aqua Fresca. Hey, Let's see if this trend continues. Because kicking down the tavern door, it's none other than JS Gunslinger, who is joining a What's on Tap round 2, where everybody has had a terrible drink. So JS, welcome to the show. Hopefully you can save What's on Tap round 2.
I can absolutely save What's on Tap round 2 because I am drinking one of the best beers we have, and that is the Yingling Lager. I was hoping to find the black and tan Yingling. However, the Packy that we went to here in the Jersey didn't have the black and tan. So, but yes, I will absolutely save this round.
Well, I'm going to destroy it.
I saw what you pulled out.
Because if the first one wasn't bad enough, this one is certainly going to do it. And I believe this is straight from Howard's fridge because he's a dick. The Bubble Stash IPA with the same cryo hop garbage that he is drinking now from Hop Valley Brewing Company. 6.2% alcohol by volume. Howard is half dying. 45 IBUs in this, as it's our stash of mosaic cryo hops, bringing a blend of fruity tropical flavors and a touch of resin to this new age IPA. Great. I want plastic taste with my beer. Good. Fantastic.
I'll trade you.
Won't want to pass this one. No, it says I won't want to pass this one, and you gave it to me.
I like that one. I like that one a lot.
These backsies. Well, maybe you're just demented. I don't know.
I'm on my second 6-pack of those.
What is wrong with you?
That one is good. This one is bad.
This cannot be good. Have you smelled this garbage?
I have. I like it.
It's like the New Jersey Turnpike. That's what it smells like.
That one is quickly rising up the ranks to be one of my favorite beers.
You've been sick a lot. Are you okay? Have you been to the doctor recently? Do you have an infection somewhere, like fungus growing between your toes? That's why you're suddenly liking IPA. Are you okay?
Yes, I am okay, but hey, somebody remind me about fungus, because that reminded me of a story I got to tell on this show. So, but we'll let Kidder try this wonderful IPA.
Well, it doesn't make me want to throw up as much. I taste the citrus. I still kind of want to throw up. Mouthfeel is not pleasant with this one.
I still kind of wish I would have kept the April Fool's joke with you guys going about the IPA that I brewed, and just brought you some hopped up carbonated water to have on the show.
I didn't even think that it was that it was April Fool's, but you did that. I was actually excited for your lemongrass IPA. I'm like, oh, Kidder's Hatred, it's finally coming. We're gonna get this. And then you're like, April Fool's. And I'm like, I am so disappointed.
I was gonna say cherry IPA, but I figured that would give it away.
I was thoroughly it wasn't oh haha, you got me. It was oh man.
And I was working, so I was busy and didn't care. Sorry.
So Kidder, do you got a rating for that wonderful IPA that you're drinking?
0.8.
That is more than Howard gave his.
That is a 0.8. I am debating dropping it to a 0.08. Debating.
I can get you one of these, Kidder.
No, I will throw it at you.
And you will love that other one once you try some of this.
No, I will throw that can at you. And You know, if it weren't for my old high school injury, then I would have been able to just bean you in the head. So it's not an actual threat because the likelihood of it hitting you is minimal. Proof.
I don't know.
And I should be doing it with this arm, and it was a college injury on the Ray Richards driving range.
I thought the college injury was from that football game where you were bass drum in one hand, beer raised in the other hand.
Everybody thought it was a beer. It was literally a lemonade slushie.
A likely
Because I wasn't 21 yet.
I know. But it does look like a beer.
Well, you look like a beer, especially with that hippie attitude.
Anyway, let's maybe try and save this show.
Yeah, how do you like that? That's a one of a kind comeback.
Yeah.
Local Geek, have you destroyed round 2 yet?
Yeah, I had for my first round, I had a mini DNA, and my second round, I had a mini DNA 2022 edition, and it had gone bad in the bottle.
Yeah.
So I reconciled with a cold smoke.
Oh, all right, there you go. So, being we've made it through round 2, Howard, I have breaking news. Literal breaking news. I survived the New York earthquake.
It's true.
In case you didn't hear about it, there was a 4.5 earthquake that hit Lebanon, New Jersey, which is not very far away from where we were this morning. I'm happy to say that I had no idea and didn't even feel it. It wasn't until I got to the convention center and 17 people asked me if I felt the earthquake, which I did not.
Surprised they didn't ask you if you died.
There
was an earthquake. Did you die?
Yeah.
Not today, Grandma. Not today.
Either my parents don't care or didn't hear about it, because it wasn't until 9:00 tonight that my dad finally texted me and said, "Hey, I heard there was a little shaking. How was that for you?" Not a single family member even so much as sent a message until my dad tonight.
Did you reply with, "I had Taco Bell for breakfast"?
I mean, more or less. Yes.
What'll be interesting to see, JS, is as you continue to travel to other dog grooming events around the country, is how many other people you run into who are at this particular one who are like, "I survived the New York earthquake."
There are even T-shirts out already that says "I survived the New York earthquake." Yeah, the one of the gentlemen working our booth was very terrified. He's like, as soon as I saw the bow was shaking, I was looking for the exit. I'm like, what? It was strong enough to shake some merchandise on one of the shelves. Yeah.
Did they roll anything good?
What's that?
Did they roll anything good when they were shaking the dice?
Not really.
That was a stretch, but
We were in the battle, man, so it's a constant earthquake driving that thing, so we had no idea. That's about what we look like, Gator.
Yeah.
But
At least you can see where you're going.
just wanted to let everybody know that I survived.
And I do have to admit that I'm sorry. There's a. Ugh.
Here, I'll join you.
I I apologize for not reaching out because it wasn't until this afternoon when I was like, "There's an earthquake on the East Coast," and then I didn't even put 2 and 2 together that you were in that hood. I just feel like sitting here with my eyes closed for a couple minutes. Just
Even though I sent him a picture of the New York skyline.
Yeah.
Yes. But, it's all right. We know how much you care.
yes, yesterday wasn't a good day either.
I just have to ask, did that picture of the skyline include the goddamn Chrysler building?
It very well might have.
Good.
You'd have to ask Kidder. It was kind of a terrible picture because photography is not my number one subject. But when you buy the bottom of the line Motorola phone, that's what you get.
Hey, I just had to ask because I have a long running thing with the Chrysler building. When Peter and I were in high school, we went on the band trip that went all up and down the East Coast, and I bought these maps of the major cities we were going to. So I had one in New York, and I actually could find our hotel on there. And I noticed, hey, we're right across the street from the Chrysler building. And I said this to somebody who I was sitting near. And this girl behind us said, "What's the Chrysler building?" And for the whole rest of the trip, every time we could see the Chrysler building, I would, hey, yeah, look out your window. It's the goddamn Chrysler building. And I kept this up, like, to the point of, like, we'd be walking, like, down the street of New York, and if she was nearby and I just happened to look in and they maybe had, like, a souvenir postcard that had the Chrysler building, I'd stop her and, like, hey, look, it's the goddamn Chrysler building. She was even in our room once, and we were on the wrong side of the hotel, so the Chrysler building was on the other side. But so we opened our curtains and really had a building just right out our window. But I called her, I'm like, hey, look, you gotta see this. And she looks out and I go, do you see it? And she goes, what? I'm like, it's a reflection of the goddamn Chrysler building in the windows. So I've got this up. So this is why I had to ask if your photo included a picture of the goddamn Chrysler building. And it's always goddamn Chrysler building.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. So
The disappointment is that it was Snapchatted, so it's gone.
It's saved in mine somewhere, but I don't know where it is. I'll have to do the things and figure it out.
Oh, this beer is so bad. If I had a shot glass down here, I'd play "If You Know, You Know," but I don't.
Just take a pull of the bottle.
I would, but then people know. Like, the fun of "If You Know, You Know" is that most people don't know.
Some people still don't know.
Just tell Future Howard to blur out the bottle and you'd be good.
That's work for Future Howard.
The problem is Local Geek is in this episode, so it doesn't work. That's who we're trying to keep it from.
Listen, at the end of last episode, like after we finished recording, I actually revealed what the you know was, and then as I started editing, I usually look through kind of the before and the after to see is there behind the curtain, and I grabbed that right away. I got to that part, I'm like, well, that footage can't ever see the light of day because that just gives it away. So no,
I burped it up.
Yeah, I haven't taken the time to go back to the shorts to find out what it is yet, but
Oh, good luck.
I did put in the last week's episode, I put mystery shot, but I didn't mark down what it was yet, and I still have to do the week before. There was like 3 of them. So.
Yep.
I will say that I did my best to boost our viewership. I think I watched 5 full episodes on the trip down here. So
Yes. Get those metrics. Yes.
I thought you were going to say you put a bumper sticker on your van. But
Ooh, I think, get us another follower too. One of the guys in our booth, I told him what we did and introduced him to the podcast. So I think we have another follower.
That's
You know
good.
what state he's from?
Massachusetts.
Okay, so if we get a bunch of views from Massachusetts, we're gonna know downloads and
That's right.
everything. So
That's right.
we're waiting for it.
Yep.
Well, JS, I'm glad you made it to the show because I have a project that I'm working on that I thought you might appreciate. So, I'm working on a prop for the State Historical Society, and I'm going to just. But
Ooh.
this is a resin cast, and it's long, of a fur trade era flintlock trade gun. So
Yeah.
I'm actually working on right now. I got it all sanded down because it has some mold lines from the casting process. Some holes and such to fill where we had some air bubbles, and then I'm gonna paint it up. I even have picked up some lovely brass tacks, so I can actually decorate it in true trade gun fashion. So I got 2 of these to do. So
why don't we just get the kit and build a real one?
because this is for a school program where we will be taking these into a school. So
I mean,
no.
Technically, a muzzle loader isn't a firearm.
No, I get that, but you need other people to not freak out when they see the photo or see you walk into the building with it. It's and I'll tell you,
freak out with that.
Well, once it's painted, I'm hoping it'll look a bit more realistic.
Well, it doesn't have an orange tip.
Well,
Are you going to paint the orange tip on it?
I've been instructed I have to paint the orange tip on it.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just bring the real one and put an orange tip on it.
I mean, it's so bright, but yeah, it's.
You got to wear shades.
Well, I was gonna say, you can kind of see, it's not like it even has a real much of a barrel. So
Can you just make a little plastic orange cap that you stick in there and then take it out for the actual photos so it doesn't look terrible?
I could maybe come up with something like that.
I mean, even like a pop bottle, take a sun-kissed cap and stick one of them over it.
I think it might have to be like a Gatorade bottle cap.
What about Powerade? What's wrong with Gatorade?
Gatorade I went with because it was already orange.
Yeah, so they should either 45 or 58 caliber. So your barrel shouldn't be that terribly big, but
yeah. So
unless you're going real old school and going 68 like Brown Bess musket, but
yeah. Well, and we have we didn't cast all of the accoutrements, so it doesn't have the actual trigger and trigger guard. We have the molds for it, but the person who cast this is no longer with the agency. So while I could probably figure out how to do it or how to make it or how to 3D print it, we've also found that when doing the program, the trigger is the number one thing that breaks, followed by the actual flintlock mechanism, because the kids pull on it and break it. So to save on repairs, we decided not to do those elements of it.
put on a real one. Put on if you have with the dummy rifle, you can get yourself a cheap flintlock mechanism, an actual flintlock mechanism. Just all you'd have to do is you're going to have to relieve a little bit out of the side. You could do that with a Dremel or a small router, and then just screw that flintlock mechanism right to the side. You could still run the flintlock. Obviously, we don't put a flint in there, but you could still run the mechanism.
it's a possibility.
And then you could put a real trigger on it, real trigger or trigger guard on there. You wouldn't be able to put the actual trigger in because you'd have to hollow out the inside of the thing. But you could put the real trigger guard on.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I'm going with what I've kind of been told because they're not really mine and they're not really for myself to use. So it's kind of one of those. The people who will be using it and for the program have kind of stated like, yeah, we're just going to leave this off and this off. So it's like, okay. So my job is to just paint it realistically.
Yeah, it's cool though. I mean, that's an interesting project.
It is. I'm excited to do some more work on it. I need to get going on it so that they can start. It's for a program that we do called Red River Rendezvous, and it's kind of it's a game that is played. So you kind of form into different teams, and each team takes on a historic group, whether it's a fur trade company or a Native American band or settlers. And you have kind of your things that you need to try and trade for and get by the end of the game. And then it's then real negotiation. So you have your supplies of things that you can trade, like hides or food products or guns. And you have to actually trade and end up with the items that you need by the end of it.
Cool.
So it's been very popular for us. It was designed by our staff up in Pembina at the Pembina State Museum. And now we're trying to build a version here at the Heritage Center. The ones up at Pembina do have the actual flintlock mechanism and the trigger and trigger guard. But we had the original maker of these. He still worked for us at that point. So he put all of those touches in. So, and then he left and we were kind of like, well, gosh, we want to do this, but we have the mold. And luckily, these are I think they're two of his kind of failed castings that he did. And it's just because you can tell some of the things like the sight here at the top didn't quite get fully cast. So I'm going to have to do a little sculpting to fill that in. There's also a kind of gnarly, but it's kind of hard to see because it's blazing white ridge here on the barrel. I need to kind of sand down and cut off. You can kind of see it with the shadow there. So just this lip. And then there's nothing really on the butt of the rifle. So I have to figure out what I'm going to do there. I'm thinking I might actually just get some like wool cloth and just wrap it and tie it off. Or maybe some leather. I haven't decided.
That'll work.
Something just to, again, because it's not a real piece, so I don't really need like the shoulder protection, but it's just very painfully obvious that there's nothing there. Mm-hmm. So I was going to try and just come up with some sort of covering. So yeah, but that's
traditionally they were either steel or brass, but the leather wrap, like you were talking, would work just fine too.
Yeah, that was kind of my general thought. Otherwise, I'd have to kind of probably like sculpt something. The way kids are with some of these props, I just could see them slamming it down and breaking it right away. So
you could just sculpt it right into that. You could, just take a little bit and just kind of Dremel one in to make it look like it had an end on it and paint it.
Yeah, I thought about that too, but I think the leather wrap will just be really fast and give it a little bit of character.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it'll be fun.
Awesome. Good project. Yeah.
So I got 2 of them to do. So it'll take some time. I'm hoping that the weather's nice enough that either this weekend or next weekend I can get them out and get them primed and ready for paint. That's my goal.
You're not going to do that in Howie's Cave of Wonders?
No.
He should.
Howard's Cave of Wonders is not set up with proper ventilation for aerosol spray.
That's what makes it more fun.
It'll be fine. Just eat 2-foot-long subs after you're done.
Listen, I'm more worried about what the wife will say about that.
You're not supposed
She'll
to
never know.
Oh, she'll smell it. She'll voice her displeasure. I know. I've done enough projects around here. I know better.
Yeah. So we were gonna try and make a Broadway play yesterday after we got in, but after 24 hours of driving straight through, I was not in the mood for doing anything.
I could see that. That's a long drive.
We'll do it.
So maybe tomorrow night. Maybe I don't know. She's got a competition tomorrow night too. So it doesn't get over till 7 or 8, something like that. So tomorrow night we probably won't be able to make it into the city, but maybe Sunday. But we'll see.
Particular show that you're leaning towards going to?
I don't know if we probably wouldn't make. I was hoping to go to Wicked, but same day tickets to Wicked are $346, and I am not paying that to go to a play.
Yeah. Ouch. Yeah. That's a shame. Phantom just closed off of Broadway a couple of years ago. So,
Yeah.
Yes,
That's a-
six was the other one that the wife said. The wife was looking up reviews and said would be pretty good. But we did not make it. I was hoping that Avenue Q would still be on Broadway, but that hasn't been on there since 2017. I think was their last one, even off Broadway. But
my sister actually directed Avenue Q at her college, made the puppets and everything.
that's
And
cool.
we didn't tell. Like, my mom knew the show, I knew the show, my brother knew the show. We didn't tell my dad anything about it. It was a good time. Kidder knew some of the music from it. I'd forced him to listen to the classics from it.
the like, I mean, there's one that everyone needs to hear. Like, it's the best song in the whole play.
About the internet
Yes.
or about everybody?
No, the internet.
Okay.
Both of those are good songs, though. Both of those are excellent songs.
Gentlemen, I am being informed that even downstairs I am being very loud in the upstairs and potentially keeping the other two competitors awake. So,
Well,
I may have to make my appearance on tonight quite brief.
It's okay. It was well worth it.
Joining us. Hey, there he goes. Almost finished it with one sip there. Local Geek was ready to drink a little something in your honor, I guess.
Ooh.
I grabbed something that I believe came from you.
Oh. Oh.
I have had it before, and it is delicious. So I was very excited when Kidder handed it to me.
Don't tell him anything, JS. He doesn't know. He doesn't know yet. He's just going to have to wait for next week. Okay? No spoilers. No spoilers.
You have actually had this one before.
He has.
I believe so, yeah. Yep.
I
not
have.
the 2023 edition, but I don't know if it's any different.
You should crack that thing open right now.
I will do that.
It's going to be worth
to go.
It's going to be worth JS potentially being murdered.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to everybody's third favorite segment of the show. What's on tap? Round 3. Drink.
It doesn't have a lot of smell coming right out of the can.
Look at his face.
I'm scared.
It's not as sweet as I remember when I had it. I remember it being
Right.
I remember it being sweeter. I'm getting the spice. It's not like an overpowering spice, but the sweetness that it had before really balanced nicely, and it's not quite the same.
I'm now really wishing I had pawned that one off yesterday.
Are you getting any notes of Dawn in there, possibly, or maybe some palm olive?
He's thinking. He's like, he's not sure. He's
It could be, yeah.
What flavor might by chance?
Yeah, it's there's something way different about it from the last time I had it, but I can't put my finger on exactly what it is other than the lack of sweetness.
So I'll give you a little hint. My description was chocolate dish soap.
I'm really now disappointed I wasn't able to pawn that off yesterday. I mentioned it to Kidder and Local Geek. My sister's significant other was here and wanted a weird beer from my fridge because she had told him I drink weird beer. I almost I offered him that one. I'm like, there's this. So I've had it before. So if you want to try it, and he looked at it, he saw habanero on it. He's like, nah, I can't do that. So I'm now, based off Local Geek's impression, I'm a bit worried. So
How he's the last one to feel the pain.
I'm feeling it.
I mean, you could have offered him a Black Lantern.
I didn't have one of those in the fridge. I didn't know he was coming. He's yeah. My sister didn't tell any of us that he was coming. So it was
Cool.
It was a surprise. Yeah. So
Well, gents, I am
Time to tap out.
I'm out, and the laser eyes coming from around the stairway are telling me that I need to go.
Thank you for sharing, Ham. Safe travels. Good luck. Best of competition.
Watch out for aftershocks.
Yes. Especially the now defunct alcohol named Aftershock.
Yes.
As a teenager, I was so excited to try that stuff, and I had some once I turned 21. Ugh.
Yeah, the Aftershock is the vomit. Because it's very shocking after you drink it.
I got a bail, so
Rock on. We'll see you later.
have a good one.
Yep, see ya.
That was good.
it was. But on the disappointment of JS leaving, I think it's time for more disappointment in the form of Kidder's favorite segment,
I figured that was coming.
the dad jokes of the week. Got to get him in there, man. I'm trying to get this segment over.
The show or the segment?
This segment, like over. I mean, hey, listen, there are people who are excited. I've had people, Kidder, other members of the Triple B family, like texting me, like, I got a dad joke book. I could be part of this segment in the future. It's all good, man. This is the segment that's going to go on forever and ever and ever. So here are your 4 dad jokes of the week. How is your long distance relationship going? So far, so good. Don't you hate it when people answer their own questions? I do. Thanks for explaining the word many to me. It means a lot. And our last dad joke of the week. Why did the show about planes never take off? It had a lousy pilot. And that's your 4 dad jokes of the week. Surprisingly, we didn't have our, like we've been noticing that one joke every week seems to just be like really dark. None of these really were this time around.
I got a good one to add that I heard this week.
All right, throw it out there. Save the segment.
You know what happens to people who eat aluminum cans? They sheet metal.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Kidder's like, thank God the segment's over.
No, thank God that's over.
I got a bunch more upstairs, Kidder. Do you want me to bring you some more?
If you are offering them up for target practice, sure.
If you're going to do that, you got to use a Guinness can because they really explode when you shoot them.
Because of the widget, right?
Yes. We have used them playing beer darts before, and when the dart hits them, the can just. So I can only imagine a bullet would do similar things, but at a greater scale.
Yeah. Gentlemen, we got like 15 minutes left on the show. We have some topics left on the run sheet. That's right. The run sheet's back. So let's maybe hit some of these. Good, fast, hard. Get them in there so we can bring this show home. I know I'm going to just say I see the local geeks maybe got a surprise for us, and is something that he's got brewing. That's right. I'm combining topics 3 and 5 because why not? I can.
So yeah, I may have ordered something off the internet that I'm going to share with you guys and JS Gunslinger probably, since he's in town. So we can all have it on the show once it arrives. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it for now, because I have no idea how good or how bad it might be, but we're going to share it together.
All right.
It's supposed to be here on Tuesdays. So.
Sharing the misery together. That's what the Triple B was founded on.
Commiserating.
And then,
commiserating, but yes.
The mead that I talked about the last full episode that I was on, I've made a few short appearances since then, I think, or at least one. That's in the fermenter still. It's plugging away. Put it in on Sunday. It'll be 2 weeks that it's been in the fermenter, so it's going good.
Have you come up with a name for the mead yet?
It's just a straight traditional mead, so I haven't. I am going to split it into 2 half-gallon batches because it's a 1 gallon batch. And once it's done fermenting, I'm going to put star anise into one of the half gallons and try to do like a licorice mead, see how that comes out. Because I personally like licorice a lot. I know a lot of people don't, but just kind of an experiment, see how it goes. But
can I offer you up the puntastic name of Fair to Meadland?
I like it.
I like that you made the, it's a statement because it's arriving on Tuesday, but that joke is a Star Trek related joke from Generations. And they're on the Enterprise B, and Captain Kirk keeps asking, do we have this? Do we have that? What's here? What's there? And the joke keeps coming up. That's going to be installed on Tuesday.
I'm glad local geek.
Yes, Tuesday. Yes,
I'm glad that you accidentally made a Star Trek reference and not me. I was a little worried that like this whole like pun that I came up with as we were talking about it was actually a Star Trek reference. I was a little worried there for a second. So yeah, the mead it'll probably be another at least month before I'm ready to share it out with people, just because mead's it's a wine, it's got to age a little bit, but I'm expecting it'll be finished fermenting within the next week, and then I'll transfer it to some half-gallon jugs and
put the star anise in one of them and let it kind of clarify for a little bit, and then I'll bottle it shortly after that, maybe the end of the month. So
Nice.
and
Nice.
of course you guys will of course get some. So
Sweet. I'm looking forward to trying. I've never actually tried mead before, so I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, I'm hoping that it's going to come out like a semi-sweet, because based on my original gravity reading, if it was to ferment down to what I normally bring my beers down to, or what the yeast normally bring the beer down to, it'd be like 25% alcohol. But the yeast that I'm using can only tolerate to about 14%. So I'm thinking some of that sugar sweetness should still be there if the yeast can't convert it to alcohol. If not, I'm going to back sweeten it a little bit, but I'm hoping I don't really need to. I'm hoping it'll be semi-sweet already, and between the two batches, the licorice will get that nice licorice kind of sweetness that's got to it too. But I'm not personally a fan of dry meads. I've only had a handful of them, but the dry ones I've had, I'm not a big fan of. And same with wines. I prefer sweet, so I'll probably be back sweetening it if it's too dry.
Nice. Well, we'll be looking forward to that in a month. So
Or so.
start the countdown clock. I'm not really going to edit in the clock. I just, wanted to quote the great Kirk Fogg, which, hey, speaking of Kirk Fogg, anybody been watching anything interesting?
You're gonna love this.
Go for it. Hit me.
Why are you looking like you're trying to shank me with a bottle opener?
Listen, this is why I paint during the podcast, because I get fidgety. And so I'm like sitting here playing with this bottle opener.
Okay.
So it just
It's a
deal
good
with it.
one to fidget with, but but Star Trek Discovery Season 5 premiered last night. Watched it. Agitated.
And how many weeks is this running?
I think 8 or 9, 10. I don't know. I think 2 episodes premiered last night because, why stretch it out when we won't have more new Star Trek for months?
I think they just want to get this over with. I just want to get it over with.
Well, they did it with Halo as well. First 2 episodes premiered in the same night. And as much as I enjoy watching back-to-back new episodes, there were only 8 episodes of Halo. Excuse me. Ugh. Screw you, Hop Valley. Gross. Ugh. There are only 8 episodes of the second season of Halo. And it was kind of meandering, but there was a ton of action. And of course, budgetary restraints prevented us from having the actual Battle of Reach and other epic events. And so that was disappointing for Halo. For Discovery, there's a lot of talk and action. I hated they had a sand speeder scene, basically. Kind of feel it's been done in sci-fi before enough, but again, did it and I hated it. I also hate the additional stupid one-liners that they think are yeah, this is hilarious. It cheapens the show for me. It's like a C television show with the best Hollywood CG graphics. Look, Derek's beside himself hearing about all this.
We're past the dad joke of the week, Kidder. Come on.
Did you just say that I gave you the best dad joke
No, he said we were past the dad joke of the week section.
segment? Oh. Not
Yeah.
like we follow this rundown of the show anyway.
No. Hopefully, Kidder, it'll again be short. I will say, with Halo, if they would have hit budgetary issues, what they should have done when they got to like the actual Battle of Reach, they should have just put in Halo Reach, the video game, and like screen capture and just done that.
Upres it. I mean, that's practically as good as a lot of the video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Disappointing. I mean, I'm not one to want Star Trek to end. But this show has been very weak Star Trek aside from pulling references in. Like, there's fan fiction everywhere on YouTube that is way better at telling stories in the Star Trek universe than what Discovery has. And it's so incredibly frustrating that Alex Kurtzman, the head of Star Trek, essentially, has done what he's done with the whole series. Like, they ruined Picard. Discovery was mostly terrible. Lower Decks, very funny, but obviously leaning on comedy influences from Mike McMahon and like Rick and Morty, right? So very funny, pulling huge elements from Star Trek there. And then for the most part, like season 1 of Strange New Worlds, phenomenal. Opening sequence, episode 1, made me a little emotional. Season 2, all right, they had a musical episode. Why? Well, we wanted to do a musical. Yeah, but why? It's getting gimmicky. It's getting dumb. Like, let's do what Star Trek is good at and focus on the realism and not make a joke out of the universe that we're trying to represent. And a ton of people are excited and they loved the episode. Yes, I watched it. I don't know. I feel it was like some of the worst episodes, like reaching Warp 10 and Janeway and Paris turn into lizards, or the Alamarain take 2 steps, Alamarain take 2 more. Weird game episode of Deep Space Nine. Now, we'll see. So there's a character, and of course I can't remember the actor's name, but he was teased that he was part of the new season, the final season, and I have got him. I've been aware of this actor since the 90s from one of my all-time favorite TV series, Due South. I don't know if Howard remembers that, about a Canadian Mountie who travels to Chicago on the trail of the killers of his father and stays in Chicago, works at the Canadian consulate and in connection with Chicago PD. And Joe Vecchio, detective at Chicago PD. This actor was in the 4th season. What are you doing?
Nothing. What?
Are you drunk?
No.
Are you high?
Oh,
Have you been painting?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay. Anyway, love the guy as an actor. Plays a good bad guy too. So we'll see what happens with him through this season. And then I got the ever so depressing news that the new series in development, Star Trek Starfleet Academy, they're finally doing this series. It's been a rumor for like 25 years that they were going to do this series. It finally came to fruition. And it's going to take place in the Discovery timeline. Why can't we leave it alone? Why? The Section 31 movie finished wrapping, and that will probably be released to Peacock in 25 at this point. Maybe the end of the year if we're lucky. They were talking about doing a Picard movie, and I'm like, haven't we ruined Jean-Luc Picard enough?
I don't know. Maybe it was based on the third season.
The third season was a great starting point is what the first two seasons should have been.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If they ran off of that,
it would help.
Yeah.
Now they're at a point in so the end of Picard season 3, they're at a point where that was the perfect jump off point to make a great new series with relevant interests, relevant people, and topics. And they don't want to greenlight it because they want to space out Star Trek releases to keep it relevant or some BS.
I wonder if they're not worried about the same problem that like Marvel is having and Lucasfilm is having with too much content, like too many Marvel things.
The franchise fatigue. Totally get that. Now, in my personal, thoughts and thinking about that sort of fatigue, Marvel, I get. Because there's this superhero and this superhero and there and there and there and there. And they're all over the place and they're at different points in the Marvel timeline. And then they're part of the overall Marvel multiverse. And where and when are they? And you have to watch this series before you watch that series and figure this out before that. And you're trying to, put together the whole web of conspiracy theories before you can actually watch a damn TV show. With Star Trek, you could at least just watch it. You don't have to know everything about everything. And I mean, you could do that with the Marvel stuff, but there's a lot of other things that just don't make sense. So I think Star Trek works a lot better in that because you can start the beginning of the series, or with Strange New Worlds, you can watch any of the episodes pretty much, get an idea. But there is also only one series running at a time. And there's like 8 episodes for each series. So 8 weeks. Take a break for a couple weeks. Sure. Have another series. Take a couple weeks. Have another series. And that's what frustrates me because it doesn't seem like they planned far enough in advance to have this sort of continuous release of Star Trek, because the last Star Trek that was released was I guess it would have been Picard season 3. And that's been a while. Right, Jake? I mean,
yeah.
Over 6 months.
Something like that. I finished that thing.
I saw that, but did you lose a spleen or what?
I'm telling you, man, if you think that bubble stash is bad, this thing would, oh. I really do wish I had a shot glass down here because I could clear out the taste. I might
Just take a slug from the bottle.
no.
Off camera.
It's okay. I think I have a body armor down here. I can drink that. So, hey, speaking, Kidder, of Marvel, the missus and I finally finished Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Nah.
You know, I liked the series. I didn't like the ending. I felt like it was a really nice, tight show, kind of, you know, like it had the right like level of, you know, close to a spy thriller, you know, it was right at that level. And then it really got to the end and it was just like, yeah, the ending kind of like, we get a training montage where he's learning to like throw the shield and not whack himself in the head with it. But this comes after a scene where him and Winter Soldier are literally standing there throwing the shield, bouncing it off trees and catching it. So what happened? And he went from just casually doing this to like, nope, now it's nearly taking my head off. There was just enough stuff in it at the end where it didn't earn the ending. So I was a little disappointed in that. Overall good, but ending was rough. I'll run through some other things that we've just quickly been watching. We took in the movie Shazam. I don't know. Have either of you seen Shazam?
It's been a while, but yeah.
Yeah, that was it was good. Me and the missus, we enjoyed it. If I had one critique of that, and that's just that the mood, like the acting of him in the hero form as Shazam versus him as the kid didn't really match up. He's too brooding as the kid and too goofball as the hero. Like it didn't quite fit that it was the same character, if that makes sense. But overall, a great comedy superhero movie. I enjoyed it a lot.
Second one isn't as good.
I won't get to watch that because they had it on Netflix. Like they put all like the DCU movies up on Netflix, but like it was only up for like a month. So that was the only one I got watched out of it. So
You talking about Shazam featuring Sinbad, Kidder?
No.
Yeah. We also we're right on. We're on the last episode of Bosch season 2. It's good. I enjoy it. It starts off slow, but it picks up really pretty well. Some of the twists on this season I was able to figure out before they happened, but it was good. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it a lot. Actually, I'm enjoying it enough that I actually bought the first book in the series by Michael Connolly, The Black Echo. So I'm not reading Bosch when I have time. And then the last show that I'll talk about, Kidder, I haven't finished the first episode. Lefty was working nights, so I needed something to watch while she was gone. While I was down here in the cave, I turned on Mindhunter on Netflix. And it's kind of about the development of the behavioral analysis unit, the profilers of the FBI. I'm almost through the first episode and like nothing has happened. It is very slow. I get what they're trying to do with the main character to make him empathetic so that you like him, but he comes off as so naive. So naive that it's almost painful. Like he's painfully awkward in everything and just doesn't know anything. And yet the problem is, like, you see him in the first scene and he's a hostage negotiator, and he comes in and he's very commanding and he looks like a fairly competent character. And then after that, it's like he is just has no clue how life works. whatsoever. And he's like I think they said he's like 29 or 30. It's like the character's age. And like, I feel like I knew more about the world when I was 30 than this guy does. And it's just, so far, I don't know. I don't know if I'll actually even go back to finishing it. So it's a little bit of a pass for me. So that was what I was watching. Anything from you, local geek, that you've been watching?
So we finally finished the Daryl Dixon spinoff of The Walking Dead. Kind of surprised by the ending a little bit, but I know there's another season coming. So originally, I think they were planning it just to be the single season. So curious to see what they're going to do with the next however many episodes they're going to do. And then we started the one called The Ones Who Live. I think it's the last spinoff that they're planning to do from the Walking Dead series. So we're, I think, one episode into that one so far. But so far, really liking it. I know you guys talked a little bit about it a few episodes ago with his brother Nico?
Pip,
that's right. Yep. So really liking those spin-offs. They're kind of a nice change of pace while still following along the same similar path.
Nice. Well, gents, we've made it through the run sheet, surprisingly, somehow, amazingly. And on that glorious achievement, Jitter! We've been talking for quite a while. It's time we wrap this show up with some cheap plugs.
Would you like some breaking news?
I see we're going with the classic stomp on Howard's transition. Yeah, me with some breaking news.
It's a closer, but it's a final breaking news before we close it up. Keith Lee was seen walking behind CM Punk during an interview tonight at the WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And obviously, Keith Lee has been an AEW superstar for a while.
I mean, it's possible. AEW is getting a lot of criticism about. I mean, and it is kind of tanking a little bit from what I hear. People's interest has gone down. Shows aren't doing as well. All that sort of stuff. So, and Keith Lee was a Triple H guy. So, good time to hop ship if you're unhappy with where you're at. And on that clearly bit of wisdom that makes a whole lot of sense, Kidder, we've been talking for a whole long time now. It's time we wrap this up with some cheap plugs. Go!
BeerBluesBS.com. It's our website, BeerBluesBS.com, BeerBluesBS.com. Also, Streamlabs.com/BeerBluesBS, Streamlabs.com/BeerBluesBS, Streamlabs.com/BeerBluesBS. Help us help you by giving us some money. Please help us donate today. Streamlabs.com/BeerBluesBS at a little as $1 a month helps us keep from starving and helps us keep the show going. Because bills and money and things. So subscribe to us. Little as $1 per month. Streamlabs.com/BeerBluesBS. Also, Facebook. Please like us. Please share it. All our episodes. We'd love for you to be part of the show. Comment, like, share. Also, Instagram. We got the gram going. And with WrestleMania, by the time this is out, all the posts are up. So please check them out. Instagram and Facebook. Like them. Share them. We appreciate all of your patronage. We are on all the audio services, including iHeartRadio, Pandora, Stitcher, TuneIn, IMDb, Player FM. I think I said Pandora, but Pandora, YouTube podcasts, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, everything. Podbean. If you have an audio podcast service of choice, search Beer Blues BS or search for Beer Blues and BS. And please subscribe and listen and help share. Thanks. Appreciate it. Also, video versions available on YouTube, and just search for Beer Blues BS or Beer Blues and BS. And yes, you'll find the show. Share it with your friends. Share it to your timeline. Help us get more people watching this. And of course, smash that subscription button. Subscribe, like, share. We appreciate it. Help us get in front of people. And if you know some people who want to sponsor us, some quality products out there, like say the drinking partner back here holding one of my Star Trek beers right there. Want to sponsor us right here, anywhere. We can throw out the sponsorships. We are for sale. Thanks. All right. Final thoughts. That's basically everything. Aside from the merch. Buy the merch. Pint glasses and signs, bumper stickers. I should have really, when JS came over here to show me the van, I really should have just threw this on the back. Never would have known with him standing right next to me. Just.
I mean, he probably would have appreciated it. You would have brought up the value of the van.
Oh, shots fired.
That's okay. I'm ready for him. Okay. All right. Local Geek, I'll let you go first on the final thoughts.
Oh boy, I didn't even prepare for final thoughts here. I got kind of a comical one, I guess, from a drug bust that happened earlier this week, I think. The guy was busted with some fentanyl pills. He tried to flush them down the toilet, and when the officers asked him, he said he was eating dinner in the bathroom is why he was in the bathroom, and he had no idea how they got in the toilet.
Nice. That's
just like his freedom. It's down the drain.
Good one.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, you saved that one. I had nowhere to go with that.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out why he was having dinner in his bathroom. So,
maybe his life's just.
Kidder coming in hot twice. Wow, it's why he is the radio professional. People,
when you have those potty problems, we're here with the potpourri of life.
My final thought, I teased this story earlier, so let me share it quick. A couple episodes ago, I mentioned that we now had a pet here in the household, a beta by the name of Lala LeChunk. Guys, this poor fish, I think when we got him, he was actually suffering from a bacteria infection. He started suffering from fin and tail rot. And I have spent the last 2 weeks trying to nurse this thing back to health. I mean, doing everything. I have been reading blogs about beta care. I've been hardcore trying to save this thing's life. Last night when my sister was over for dinner, the fish was laying at the bottom of the tank. My son even asked, is he still alive? And we're like, yeah, he's just sleeping. While my sister was reading them bedtime stories, I went down to check on him and give him some food, and he was floating at the top of the tank. I was like, oh, crap. So I got Lefty, and I let her know. I'm like, this isn't good. So last night I had to have the difficult conversation with my son at bedtime about how his fish was no more, how Lala LeChunk had passed away. And it was very sad and very hard to get through. And we told him what the next steps were, and he was understanding. And eventually, then I told him a story about Batman, and he was okay for the time. Got him asleep. Went downstairs. I'm like, okay, well, let's start dealing with the fish and cleaning the tank and getting it hopefully ready for a replacement fish. Get my net out. Go to scoop up this fish. Damn thing swims away. Yep, it's still alive. I haven't killed this thing yet. It's
Here, I was getting ready to say you needed to be reading a book called Alpha Care instead of Beta Care.
Apparently I have it's still alive and kicking and swimming. I do need to clean its tank out this weekend from all of the meds, but it seems like I have kept this fish alive. And my son came down and was very confused at breakfast why his fish was still there. Why Dad had told him his fish had died. So I'm either parent of the year or worst parent ever. I don't know, but that's my final thought. A story I had to share.
I mean, it was Easter last weekend. This was a whole story about resurrection.
I mean, we may now have started calling the fish La 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 Chunk Lazarus. I'm, that's it goes. So,
well, that's quite the final thought and almost a depressing end to this show. So, almost.
Hey, Kidder, do you want a depressing end for this show?
No.
Because I was just going to tell you that we have to say goodbye to a favorite long-running gimmick on this show. That's right. The bright blue lights of holiday have just diminished. They're now Circle K stations. So no longer can we use that long-running joke of, is that a holiday or an Outback? Because they're gone, man. They're gone.
Yeah. For you. I laughed because the South one was a holiday. Went through the car wash on Thursday and went down to Des Moines. On Monday, drove by dealing with some work stuff. Well, what the hell? It's a Circle K now. How did they do that in 4 days?
The joke was really on me, Kidder, because I went in there one morning, because I go in there most mornings, grab my coffee and all of that, and it was a holiday. The next day I came back and it was a Circle K. It was.
Was the coffee still just as good?
Yes, but I no longer can make that, joke about the best gas station coffee is a holiday I mean, really, this killed several long-running Triple B jokes. So there's a depressing note to end the show on. You're welcome.
As Rude Boy would say, circle gets the square.
Okay,
I'm going to bring it up. That if you have to ask, you can't afford it. There's a liquor store in town, in the northeast part of town, that has liquors in its name. And if they want to sponsor us, then we can say their name. That would be great. But they have some bottles of Ed Belfour's single barrel rye whiskey, the barrel proof stuff, kind of like these right here, right there, kind of like it. So I might have to make a trip to the northeast side of town and get up there and get myself some Ed Belfour's single barrel straight rye whiskey barrel proof.
You can also pick up some of this, Kidder, while you're up there.
I am going to shoot that out of your hand. And suddenly, Local Geek is in a butterfly repository.
It's a frog's hideaway, according to Google.
Sure.
Go to my underwater sea lab then.
We need to end this. This is going off the rails.
Well, Local Geeks experimenting with filters. Howard is filtered, and I am still Mark Kidder. Thank you for joining us for this and every episode of Beer, Blues, and BS. Remember, there's free beer tomorrow. Keep your glass at least half full, and we will catch you on down that dragon-filled Tuscan highway. Have a good one. See you on the next episode of Beer, Blues, and
You have been listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and BS. If you enjoyed the show, help others find out about it by rating the show or leaving a review at your podcast listening service of choice. Thanks for listening, and may your glass never be empty. UA Productions presents A Glimpse Behind the Curtain.
I'm starting the recording literally so I can make this joke up. Look, I know this show sucks, but we don't need a sound effect for it. Carry on. just right. I had to start the recording early, Derek, because there was a joke that had to be made.
Howard wanted to be funny.
I'll have to catch it when the episode comes out.
It will probably be a part of Behind the Curtain. Most of what Kidder just said. Most of what Kidder just said probably would. Yeah, not going to use that. Can't use that. So, I'm sure something else funny will happen. We'll see.
I don't know. It
Probably.
is this show.
It is. Actually, the episode that came out tonight, I honestly struggled to come up with what was going to be behind the curtain. Because we like got right into the show, like right away. And then like after the show, like I kicked myself because I'm like, all right, well, I think we have enough. And I'm like, I don't have a behind the curtain. It's one of the things I always make sure that there was something that we recorded. And so it's like, oh, what the hell am I going to do? So,
way to go, Howard.
I came up with something. There's a behind the curtain. I forget what it is now because I've started editing the 3-year anniversary show, and that one's pretty intense. So,
I'm sorry I missed that one.
Yeah,
aside from a what's on tap.
Yeah, you missed something. I'm not gonna give you any spoilers because you just need to enjoy it in all of its pure glory. So it'll be good. It'll be good. Well, I'm ready to go if you guys are ready to start.
I suppose I need a beer, huh?
I hope Kidder had the multi-view going because like that was like synchronized get up and go. Like it was beautiful. This will be good. This will be good.
Whatever you say, Howard.
Yeah. I do have an interesting way to introduce Local Geek this time, so be prepared. Also,
is that a gorilla painting behind you?
it's King Kong, man.
Oh,
So this tells you just how much of a like non-drinker I am. When I turned 21, instead of going out to drink, I went to King Kong
nice.
because it's King Kong. So that is an actual movie poster. So it's the ones that if I had a light in the back, it would light and illuminate from the theater.
Nice.
So it's oh, go ahead.
I also didn't go out on my 21st birthday and drink, so
Yeah.
I don't remember what I did, but I know I didn't go out.
Yeah. My birthday fell almost always in college, like middle of finals week. So,
Oof.
yeah. But no, it's part of the artwork I need to hang up down here. I also got a Blues Brothers movie poster that I believe Kidder gave me at one point. So
Nice.
and then from Doctor Who, it is Van Gogh's Exploding TARDIS.
Nice.
Oh. Yeah.
Looking back at the calendar, my 21st birthday even fell on a Friday night.
That's okay. We didn't go out for Kidder's 21st birthday either, because somebody had to go to Vegas.
I had a shot at 12:01. Now, technically 2 hours behind because Vegas is in the Pacific time zone, so not to be confused with Pacific Rim, which is over Howard's shoulder.
Right there. Right there. All right. Let's get this show on the road.